Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about slope. As you can see, I've already filled out part of the notes. The reason why I did that is because this should all be a review at this point. The slope formula is y minus y over x minus x. And it doesn't matter what order you do those in, as long as you do them in the same order. If you pick the first y, you pick the first x. You subtract the second y, you subtract the second x. If you pick the second y, you subtract the first, and then you take the second x and subtract the first. There are four types of slope. You can have positive, negative, zero, and undefined. That's what they look like. So, as a quick review, I want you guys to use the slope formula and tell me the slope of these 6 questions. Alright, so there you see in the first 4, I used the slope formula to equate the slope. The top 2 were positive, the bottom 2 were negative. Again, and this shows you how slope merely takes a fraction and reduces it to get the most correct answer. If you have a negative on the bottom, you always take it to the top for your negative slope. On these 2, I showed you how I prefer to do a slope formula if I have a coordinate grid. I went up 2 over 3. Both of those things are positive, so it's a positive slope. If both of these things were negative, so let's say I go down 2 and left 3, then they're both still positive, so it's a positive 2 over 3. For this one, I went down 3 over 4, so I went negative 3 and positive 4. If I would have went positive 3 and negative 4, then I still would have ended up with the same answer. What we need to focus on is something you've seen before. Lines that are parallel have the same slope. Lines that are perpendicular if their slopes are opposite, or if the product is 1. So, if a line has a slope of 2/3, the parallel slope is 2 over 3. The perpendicular slope is negative 3 over 2. And that was supposed to be negative 1. So notice, for the parallel, I kept it the same. And for the perpendicular, I flipped the number and made it negative. Now, if I would have said that the original slope is negative 2/3, this is a different problem, the parallel slope would be negative 2/3. The perpendicular slope would be 3/2. So, just so you guys understand, another thing we want to talk about is if a line has a whole number slope. So if I say the slope is 3, the parallel slope is 3, but the perpendicular slope is negative 1/3. And that's because 3 is equal to 3 over 1. So what you're going to do here is you're going to check and see if the lines are perpendicular, parallel, or neither. In order to do that, you have to calculate the slope of both sets of lines. So you're going to calculate the slope of AB, and you're going to calculate the slope of CD. When I calculate the slope of AB, I get 7 minus negative 5, 4 minus 2. So I get 12 over 2, and that's equal to 6. When I calculate the slope of CD, I get 2 minus negative 2, and then I get 0 minus 8. Oh, 4 minus negative 2. Shoot, that was 6. This is 2. Gotta catch me all the time. I'm slacking on the job here. So this slope is 2. So here I get 2 minus negative 2, and I get 4. I get 0 minus 8, I get negative 8. That's equal to negative 1/2. Since this slope is 2, and this slope is negative 1/2, these two slopes are perpendicular to each other. Notice I use the symbol perpendicular. Parallel symbols like that. So I want you to try number 2 and see if you can figure out the slopes, and then if they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay, so when I did AB, I got negative 3 over negative 12. And I got 1 over 4. When I did CD, I did negative 5 minus 7 and negative 2 minus 1. And I got negative 12 over negative 3, that's 4. You'd be really quick to be like, oh hey, they're perpendicular because they're opposites. But one has to be negative. They're not the same, so they're not parallel. But if they're going to be perpendicular, they have to be opposites, and one would have to be negative. Since one of these are not negative, these are not perpendicular. This is an example of neither. Okay, sometimes in a slope equation, you're just given the formula. And you guys should know y equals mx plus b from algebra, where m is your slope. So by looking at these equations, you can say, oh, hey, these are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. The parallel slope is the m value that is the same. Well, if you look at number 2, the m value for both of those is 3/4. So this would be an example of one that has parallel slope. Perpendicular slope is where the numbers are flipped and one is negative. In 1 and 3, they are both flipped, but only one of these would be perpendicular, and that would be 1, because not only are the slopes flipped, but they are one of them is negative. 3 is an example of neither. The slopes are flipped, but not one of them is negative, so they're not perpendicular to each other. You can also imagine that you would have to solve for y sometimes to be able to do this, and we'll go over that in class tomorrow. If you have any questions on perpendicular and parallel slopes, see me before class. Otherwise, we'll go over the notes, and I'll definitely be looking to see that you have everything filled out in order for you to get credit for doing the notes.